Guys, welcome back for another video. Today I am going to be rebatching. I am making my Fella soap, and this is one for the guys, and this is my best seller for the guys. Everybody really loves it, including me. It is actually a dupe of Ed Hardy for men, and it does smell really, really good. It's like, I don't know, it's just like one of those fragrances that as soon as you smell it, it's like, it could just basically suit any guy, I guess, is where I'm going with it. But I love it. So I'm going to be rebatching this because currently I'm out. Like, I literally sold my last bar about a week or so ago, and I wanted to have this done before then, but you know, when you're running a one-man show, things just don't always go as planned, unfortunately. So anyway, okay, here I have all of my oils ready to go. We're at about 110 degrees, which is normally where I like to soap, especially I guess if I'm not adding milks or anything that are going to contribute you know, more sugars into the recipe and cause it to heat up at all. So and in this case I'm not, but I actually am changing this recipe a bit. For those of you who have already used this soap or are familiar with the recipe, the oils are all the same. However, this time I am adding shea butter, and I am also adding some oats, colloidal oatmeal, and I am adding aloe vera. So those are things that have not been in this recipe before, but you know, as you go along, you're always tweaking things, you're always looking to improve or make things better, and I'm also doing a higher super fat. So in my bowl, I've already mixed up my oats and the aloe in here, and I have my sodium lactate in here, and right now I am basically ready to just go ahead and add the lye and get it emulsified. And this soap I like to keep as fluid as possible, and you will see why. The design is pretty intricate. It takes a while. It's a lot of layering with color. So it's pretty important to keep it fluid. Now, because I have changed the recipe, I'm hoping that doesn't cause any issues with the texture of my batter. I know that this fragrance does not accelerate on me at all. It never gives me any problems. It's great fragrance to work with. So we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and get this emulsified. So my apologies, my stick blender is loud, guys. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there. I also do apologize if I am sniffling in this video at all, or if I don't sound quite well. I have a cold. I always get a cold in the spring, like it never fails. Even if I go all winter without getting a cold, it's like as soon as spring hits, I get a cold. And here in PA, we are also having some very, very dreary, rainy weather. It's supposed to be just rainy all week long, like no sun. Sometimes it makes it hard to get motivated, especially when you're sick and not feeling 100%. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just split up my batch. And in this case, my colors need to be even. So I just eyeball and measure as I go. So that's a cup and a half. And if it's not perfect, it's, you know, it's not the end of the world, but I like them to be pretty even just because of the nature of the design. Alright, so we're at about 2 cups each. Looks good. I'm going to add my fragrance oil last this time because it just will give me more time to work. Even fragrances that really don't accelerate can tend to just help thicken up your batter a little bit, so. Alright, and I think I'm going to whisk in my colorants, except for probably the titanium dioxide. I probably will have to give that a little stick blend just to make sure it's not spotty. Alright, go ahead and give this titanium dioxide a blend. I might add just a tiny bit more. I like the white to really pop in this one. I am noticing some speckling in my white here because of the, I know it's because of the oats, but that is okay. Okay, looking good. Now I'm going to start with my blue, and if If I don't have enough here, I can always add more. Should be plenty though. Could be a touch brighter. I usually do eyeball my colorants. Like, I don't typically measure them every single time I make soap, and because usually I can tell, you know, just by looking at it if it is the same, or at least very, very close. Obviously, no batch is going to be exactly the same. We're, you know, artisan. But, you know, close. Okay, it's in my black oxide. You know, the oxides I actually do just keep in mind when I'm making soap that I start kind of smaller, because they're just so like concentrated. You just need so little compared to like your titanium dioxide and even micas, really. Like, this is 1 teaspoon of black oxide, and you can see how black this stuff is, guys. I mean, it looks like tar. So and I do pre-mix all my colorants, except for obviously ones that are already liquid, but any oxides, any micas, and micas blend really well in soap, but I just, I'm really finicky about just wanting to make sure that there aren't any clumps. So if I would put the mica in just powder, you know, I probably am just not going to be satisfied to just go ahead and stir it. So I will end up stick blending it, and in turn probably causing it to thick up a little bit more than I wanted to. So I just find it, you know, just personal preference. I just like to pre-mix them. Okay. I'm still getting used to this talk while you work thing. Because I just went so long without making videos, or, you know, just like soaping alone. So I'm not talking. Usually I have like music on or something, and I'm just kind of going. But here's our fragrance, and this is, I'm going to use the whole bottle because this is a 2-ounce bottle. So this will be fine as far as, you know, the amount. So there was really no point to dump it out and measure it, because I already know how much is in here. And I don't use the, and this is still not the max safety usage, but this seems to be like a good balance for this size batch. So I'm just gonna split it up. And I do find that I think using kaolin clay, probably really any kind of clays in your soap, of course we use it because it's good for your skin, but it really does help anchor the fragrances. And just keep them nice and strong, I think, through the cure. And this is actually one of those fragrances that out of the bottle, it's very strong. I've seen people even complain, oh my god, I got this fragrance and it's so strong I just won't use it. I hate it, it's so strong. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're supposed to be strong out of the bottle. And you really cannot completely judge a fragrance. I've had fragrances that smell somewhat different after they've been used in products, you know, and in soap. So it's kind of like, you know, make a small test batch, see what you think. But this one is very strong out of the bottle, little overpowering, although it does smell fantastic. But after it cures, it's actually very, very light, and it is very pleasant. My first batch I ever made of this, I used half an ounce per pound of oils, and it smelled fantastic. And after it cured, I was slightly disappointed with the you know, level of fragrance. Like, you could still smell it, it still smelled good, but it wasn't as strong as I would have liked it to been. So I was like, okay, well, I can obviously safely increase this. So the second time I went ahead and added more, and it was like, oh, okay, perfect. So you can't always say, oh my god, out of the bottle it's just so strong. So, you know, it's hard to really know until you use a fragrance what is going to happen, what it's going to do. I know there's fragrances that stay super strong. My honeysuckle, for instance, is super strong out of the bottle, and it just stays super strong. So that one I actually need very little of. I use less than, you know, I could, but that's because, like, if I would use more, it would probably be overpowering. And then some people, I have read things about certain fragrances where they said, you know, this was so strong out of the bottle and then it cured, and now literally I can't smell it at all, like at all. So it's kind of crazy. All right, we're looking pretty good, I think. So grab my mold, and I'm gonna make sure that you guys are in view here so you can see what I'm doing. I might even try to zoom you in a little bit, so bear with me for a second. Okay, I don't want to get you too close, but close enough. Okay, so what I do is I start to layer right on the side here. Turn you this way. I hate that white is always so much thicker. Oh, I think I got you out of view there a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. And we're going to save the rest for the top. And we're going to go ahead and bang this down. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it looks very lopsided in the mold. The soap is like way higher over here, but that's what we want. Okay. That should be good. Let's just get the rest of our soap on the top here. I'm going to try to do a slightly different top this time. I love the top the way it was before, but I was just thinking earlier that something else I have in mind might look kind of cool with the way this soap is swirled on the inside. Make sure I have this scraped really well. Of course, I'm plopping black into the white. I had a feeling that was going to happen because it's pretty runny. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's still going to basically look how I want it to, so that is okay. Give it a little swirl on the top. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. I like it just like that. Hopefully you guys can see. Maybe I'll see if I can zoom you in a little bit too, because it's quite full, so I'm trying to be really careful with it. There we go. I can just kind of move it. And I like it just like that. All the last batches I made were just randomly swirled with all the colors on top, which looked great, but I thought this might look really cool just because of all the layering inside with the colors being white, black, and blue. So just something a little different. Okay guys, well that is the making of Fella, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a little long as far as the layering goes. As a matter of fact, when you watch this video, I may have fast forwarded that part. I don't know, I guess we'll see. If not, and you get bored, excuse me, just feel free to fast forward through it. I'm not really talking about anything important, or, you know, I'm just kind of concentrating on getting my layers somewhat decent. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like, please subscribe, feel free to comment or question. I love hearing from you guys. So thanks for watching, and well, you'll be back in like 2 seconds for the cutting. Alright, see you guys. Okay guys, we are back to cut our Fella soap. It is out of the mold, and it has actually been many days, more than I usually let soap set, and it was really odd because when I checked the soap after 24 hours, it was still really just soft and a little sticky, and I was like, I'm gonna let it sit, and then life happens, and you know, plus I wanted to make sure I got the cutting for the video. Now, my soap cutter is probably a lot different than what you're used to seeing and hearing, for that matter. Mine makes some noise. So when I go to cut, you can hear that spring. My soap cutter is a homemade cutter, and what they did was they actually put this wood backing here so that when I slide my soap up, it's like pre-measured for me, which is pretty cool. My fiance and my dad made the soap cutter for me, so it is special and I love it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead, because I can't have the camera angled at the other end to really show you as it's being cut, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my cuts, and then I'll just show you the bar, that way you guys can see it. So let's get cutting. I've already cut off my end pieces so that I can just go ahead and cut away. Okay. And my design looks so much different this time, and it may be just because it had been that long since I made another batch, because last time I made a lot, so I haven't had to make it in a little while. So I feel like I was unfortunately a little rusty with this one. But I'm still happy with it. I still think it looks cool. And I love these colors together. And I could just smell this all day. It smells so, so good. So, totally get why the guys like it so much. And my bars are, I get 8 bars out of each loaf. My bars are actually thicker than an inch. They're about 1.25 inches. But it gives me like the perfect size that I was after, which is about 5.5 ounce bars. And I think they fit very well in the palm of your hand. So these will go on the curing rack, and they will cure for at least a month. Sometimes longer, just depending on the recipe. But never any sooner than a month. So more of these will be available in June. It's funny because usually the swirl is so much different than this when I make this soap. It's usually very like kind of how these are right here, and it's usually like that the whole way through. So I don't know, I don't really want to say I'm disappointed because I mean, you know, we're talking handmade soap, they're never going to be exactly the same, but I've made it so many times and it's always been pretty much the same, so I don't really know what I did, guys. Really don't, but you know, that's the soap in life, I guess. What are you gonna do? But I still like it. It still looks cool. It smells phenomenal. So that is it, guys. That has been the making and the cutting of Fella. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment, ask questions. And I will be posting a link below for my Etsy shop in case anybody is interested in having a look or purchasing any products. Feel free, that would be great, and of course very appreciated. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you for the next video. Bye.